Welcome to your March 2026 energy forecast, where we take a look at the energies available for us to work with for the upcoming month of March 2026. It is Cosmic Clarity Time with Amanda, myself. So grab your notebook, get comfortable, and let's dive in together. We're going to be here for a while because we have a lot to talk about today. Hi, my name is Amanda. If you don't know me, I bring you content to help you create a rich spiritual life as we navigate the human experience together. I'll share with you some ways that have supported me in my own spiritual awakening journey, largely through studying astrology for the past 5 years, and teach you some very practical life skills to empower and inspire you. I am a certified somatic crystal and chakra healer and yoga teacher, and I draw from all the modalities as well as my own intuition to bring you these tools. Now, I only bring you these tools and insights, but at the end of the day, it's what you do with it that will dictate how it serves you. So you have to put inspired action behind these tools. Astrology and the modalities we discuss here are supposed to be helpful in bringing more mindful, intentional living to our lives. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. So let's dive in together. Whew, oh my goodness, how are you feeling after this crazy month of February? We are still feeling the fire, the drama, the massive shifts that will continue to unfold this year. But first, how are you doing? Seriously, let me know in the comments. February was no joke. We had a new moon in Aquarius that had us all rethinking our futures, a solar eclipse that massively shifted our understanding of the world and really the external world as well as majorly shifting. The Chinese astrology start of the year of the horse, which is all about forward movement. And of course, the long-awaited Saturn-Neptune conjunction that is literally changing the global platform. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the February videos. I have shorts and longs about all of these game-changing experiences that happened in the month of March and February, and that's going to continue to unfold. I really hope that you can continue to keep yourself grounded. If not, give yourself grace. Astrologically, February was one of those months that most of us won't ever experience in our lives again. So if it was a little rough for you and continues to feel a little rough, you're not alone. If you're not seeing everything that's unfolding yet in February, our nervous systems do know what's happening. So please take care of yourself. It's still winter time. Make time for rest and self-care. So for the month of March, our general themes, jumping in. Coming from February, that was extremely fiery, here in March, we kind of have to recalibrate again. Check in with ourselves, our identity, our priorities, and where we're going in our lives because things were stirred up. We're moving into Piscean season now. Happy birthday to myself and our fellow Pisceans. And Pisces is seen astrologically as the end of a karmic cycle. So it's where we have the opportunity to integrate what we've seen, what we've learned, and how we've changed over the past year and let it fully root down and become part of who we are and how we move forward. Oh, by the way, I created some free printable journal and calendar pages for you to help you jot down some notes for yourself. I have room on here to write notes about a main theme for the month, your ascendant, your sun, your moon, and I'll explain a little bit more later what this is all about. You can write down some goals or resilience tools that you might want to work with, tarot messages, and then the journaling prompts that you want to work with. They are posted in my YouTube channel on the posts tab as well as on Instagram. They're posted as pictures so you can download them and print as many as you want to make your notes. I host a Tarot Tuesday that you can also use the journal pages for. So for March, the main themes for us are learning that harmony requires honesty. So that's harmony with other people and with ourselves, but also in our environment. And secondly, that we can't start new chapters with old identities. So strong themes around truth and identity shifts. To work with these themes, we'll want to check in on our boundaries and have the necessary heart-to-heart conversations, including with ourselves, which is also why we'll want to pay attention to the throat chakra. There's a saying that feels very appropriate for me this month, and it says, balance creates peace and courage creates new beginnings. I don't know who said it, but I love it. I think I saw it on a calendar somewhere. Okay, so on March 3rd, we have a full moon in Virgo. You can jot that down in your calendar, in your soul care planner if you have it, link below in my link tree, or in your journal pages that you printed. There's a calendar layout for you as well. And this moon is called the worm moon, and named after the time of year where the ground starts to soften and life starts reappearing. Think of a muddy mess with worms coming out. It's a beautiful opportunity for us to soften too, and to start to awaken after the hard winter, and as the season starts to unfold here in the Northern Hemisphere at least. We have officially left the Chinese sign of the snake at the end of February, during which we had the opportunity to shed what was limiting our lives. And this full moon in Virgo being a very practical and logical kind of sign, it sort of brings that shedding to a close. And now we want to make sure that we actually put the practical habits and mindsets in place that's going to allow us to up level. Big themes around this moon are guarding against perfectionism that actually holds us back. Body awareness and health comes to the foreground. So asking again that we look at how we eat, how we move, how we care for our physical, emotional, and mental bodies, and how we support our whole being at large. Virgo's highest expressions include self-refinement, so without judgment, holding ourselves accountable for putting action behind what we say that we want. So again, just fine-tuning the diet, fine-tuning the exercise plan, fine-tuning the structure to learn about something new that will help you move forward, and all the practical things. Virgo also rewards service to others, and it intersects with the general themes that we talked about for March, that is around creating harmony in our environment as well. So equal give and take in relationships, home, work-life balance, balance in controlling things versus surrendering. For me, it's always finding that balance between doing enough and putting inspired action where I need it to go, but also not to control the timeline and the outcomes, into surrendering so that things can unfold as they should. So you see those main themes around harmony through discernment. Virgo's lower expressions that we want to avoid are being overcritical, overthinking, as I mentioned before, perfectionism that actually slows us down, and living from a place that is unconscious versus mindful and present, which is why we come to this channel. I feel like this time of year, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, we're so eager for spring to arrive, but the weather and nature isn't quite there yet. So again, just flowing with the seasons and changing with it. Virgo is actually Pisces' opposite. So where Virgo is very pragmatic, analytical, and precise, I have a Virgo child. Pisces, myself, is the dreamy, creative water sign, and we are now entering into the Piscean season, but working with Virgo requires us to be very practical when we try to create that harmony in our lives in this Piscean season. So remember, full moons are where you can charge up your divination tools. If you're working with crystals, tarot cards, or pendulums, I love making moon water, as you know, which is where I write my intention on a vessel of water and just speak the intention into the water and then charge it up overnight to enjoy the next day. And it's just another way to bring a spiritual practice into the physical world where my senses can experience it. And it helps me embody that affirmation then. So grabbing your journal, some journal prompts for you to work with are, where am I overgiving? Or where is my energy draining? Where am I withholding truth? And especially truth around what feels peaceful to me. What are some practical habits I can put in place this month to keep my life harmonious or in balance? As an example, one thing I wrote down for myself is to make a real effort to take a lunch break during my workday as a way to manage stress, because I tend to just get in a flow state and I just power through to the end of the day. But there's a very strong health focus this year, particularly mental health. And as I age, I found that that's not healthy for me. So translate that into whatever is true for you and sit with those journaling prompts. With the March 3rd full moon, we also have a lunar eclipse. Now, eclipses are intense and powerful events that are intended to bring faded, if you will, endings, breakthroughs, and often quite suddenly. In February, we had a solar eclipse, which was about outward alignment. So you may have seen things in the outer external world shift, end, or change. Boy, did we see changes. Whereas lunar eclipses are much more internal. So think internal emotional release, feelings, thoughts, emotions that you've been carrying and that might be ready to let go of in your life, or that you're ready to shift in a different direction. Lunar eclipses are also past focus, so closing old chapters, and that's why they can sort of feel emotionally intense, because they are karmic or destined, meaning taking us where we need to go, not necessarily where we want to go. You know, in some video games, when you have your little car, I'm not a gamer, so I don't know, but I feel like I saw this in Hot Wheels, where you're driving your little car on the track and it runs over an object in the road, and that object just gives it a boost and it suddenly speeds up and it propels forward, but it's really hard to control that movement. I feel like eclipses is sort of like that. It's just a very intense power up that just pushes you in a direction. The Bhagavad Gita describes karma as our prescribed duty in the world that our soul has chosen to commit to, and eclipses are said to be a push towards the authentic expression of that karma and away from the ego-driven expression. So you may hear astrologers talk about lunar eclipses as the completion of a karmic cycle, and that just means something is coming to an end to make room for something else. In the human experience, it may be a job change, a change in living situation, or an ending, even if it's just something small like the ending of a belief. But often we may find that that ending has realigned us to something better. I suppose blessing in disguise is what it feels like sometimes in the human experience. During a lunar eclipse, if endings come with a decision that you need to make, we want to tune into where we feel less resistance and maybe even some relief. And that's the direction that we'll want to go in, even if it's a path that we didn't really want to take. It's a good time to, again, give yourself space. So don't fill up your social calendar and just lay low. Give your time to give yourself space to rest. Most astrologers will say to not look at or sit under an eclipse because the energy is very chaotic and scattered, and we don't want that. We started our first Mercury retrograde for the year on February 26th, and it goes through March 20th, and it's in the sign of Pisces. Mercury rules communication, travel, and mental activity, like our ability to reason and process information. Mercury can be a pain in the butt sometimes because it's not uncommon to have technical issues or communication mishaps and things from the past resurfacing. Each retrograde is about 3 weeks long, and in 2026 we'll have 3 of them. So it's a significant chunk of time that this planet sits in its orbital retrograde. So again, the planet itself doesn't physically retrograde, it's just the perception from Earth, but energetically it's what we feel in our bodies that we're talking about here. Astrologers suggest that this may not be the best time to plan a trip or start something new, sign contracts, or make important decisions, just because of those communication issues and how it interferes with our, cognitive decision making. If you have to engage in these activities during this time, just don't rush. Spend extra time grounding yourself and pay really close attention to the details. Now, because it's in the sign of Pisces, which is a much less logical or cognitive sign than most others, we may feel this retrograde a bit more in spaces like past hurts coming back up and having to be a little more aware of our mental health. So think of the emotional self, our emotional selves. Coming back to the structure, check to see if you have enough mental health support in place. If you were thinking of getting a therapist, now would be a great time to actually make that happen and see that through. Are you moving your body? Are you engaging in activities like meditation and journaling or other mindfulness practices to take care of your mental health and yourself? Are you eating healthy? Are you getting out and being social with other people? So these are all ways that we can take care of our body, mind, and spirit. Try some of the somatic release exercises that I'll share with you later this month to get into your body and out of your head. That's what we want to do. We want to get out of the head and really into the body as we cruise through Mercury retrograde. I also have a bunch of other adult skills, resilience skills available in that playlist on my YouTube channel. Instead of focusing on the things that we can't control, there are many things that we can do to support our mental health. And bringing our spiritual practice into the physical realm with rituals and experiences that our senses can't perceive is a great way to take care of ourselves and to bring our spiritual practice close to home. Cultivating peace and calm within ourselves is the best thing that we can do for ourselves and for the world. On March 17th, we have a new moon in Pisces to complement this Piscean season just before we move into Aries. Write it down on your calendar. This new moon is where we can let our imagination fly. We get to dream up new realities. So if you are not happy about the state of the world right now or something in your life, here is where energy work like meditation with intention, or if you're Reiki attuned, using that modality to create a world that you want to see in your mind's eye. It's a very creative time to come up with ideas and solutions that we maybe wouldn't have thought of before. Pisces' higher expression are that of deep, intuitive connections, surrendering to divine timing by choosing to trust that things unfold in the right time and organically, and trying to find our emotional softness and compassion through healing and forgiveness. So we work with these energies by choosing those higher expressions and being guarded against the lower expressions, which may look like wanting to escape reality with distractions, avoiding difficult conversations, letting boundaries slip or dissolve, and spiritual bypassing. So this last one, spiritual bypassing, is something that we particularly have to be mindful of in our spiritual practice. That's when we use our spiritual practice or spiritual language or our modalities to bypass the discomfort of real healing. So for example, if I have a very real wound to heal around relationships, for example, by doing my inner work or reflecting on my part in my own suffering and choosing new behaviors, learning the skills to be able to choose those new behaviors, spiritual bypassing would be like me saying, oh, I'm just gonna keep my vibe high and the right people will just come into my life and not hurt me. It's grabbing for tools or spiritual language that feels more comfortable than actually sitting with the work that I need to do and the actions that I need to take. So living a truly mindful life is all about being okay with discomfort, because I know I'm learning and I'm growing from it. It's part of the human experience, and that improves the quality of my life and of my relationships. March 20th, Mercury goes direct again, which means it's no longer in retrograde. And that also brings us the spring equinox and the pagan season of Ostara, the goddess of fertility and new life. A profound season of spiritual rebirth. And let me say it again, balance. Day and night is almost equal, and we may feel some awareness of the light returning to our lives. It may be as simple as looking forward to warmer weather and maybe getting back out into nature. I know for me, I'm really looking forward to getting outside again and actually feeling comfortable playing outside in nature again. Our hiking and camping season is just about to start. But it's been so uncomfortable to be outside. But it may also be something like we're just starting to feel more hopeful as the light returns into our lives in different ways. That feeling of light triumphing over darkness may also set in. This is the time where we see the vibrant Hindu festival of Holi that celebrates triumph over good and evil. So let's put our energy behind it. Go to a Holi festival and celebrate diversity with your community. Find ways to celebrate the light in your everyday life. Grabbing a few moments of sunshine in the morning to calibrate the circadian rhythms, and giving thanks for the returning of the warmth of the sun. Cultivate excitement for this new season by putting things you look forward to on your calendar. Really anything that will bring a sense of renewed energy to your life. There's a great German practice called Lüften. It's literally just opening windows and doors for a few minutes a day to let that staleness leave. And even if you have an altar, freshen it up with things like, give it a fresh springy feel. So things like fresh flowers or things that you found in nature that represent spring. Consider a sunrise meditation or waking up with the day, one of my favorite things to do. And these practices are all about just bringing intentionality and cultivating joy in our lives every day. These are things that we can control and do. March is the bridge between endings and new beginnings, and it gives us new energy for a new direction. So work with it. Ideas for some affirmations you might want to work with this month. Inspired by the monks who did the Walk of Peace last month, this affirmation has to be on the list. Today is going to be my peaceful day. Remember that we have the power to create peace within ourselves. Another affirmation that you might want to work with is, I choose calm over chaos. Harmony surrounds me. All is well in my world. Affirmations can reduce anxiety and stress, boost self-esteem, improve focus, and simply foster a more positive outlook on life. They work by reinforcing a message to the brain over and over again, essentially forming new neural pathways that then becomes the norm and just how we act. We also know that where attention goes, energy flows, a famous quote by Tony Robbins. So let's put our energy behind peace. In the comprehensive energy forecast here, I like to share just one simple focus for each of the zodiac sign by its earth element. If you want just one main focus to focus on, that feels a little closer to home. So fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. March is a reset month for you. February was very, very spicy for you. So now take the time to slow down and move forward with intention. Lead from authenticity, not from ego. Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. March is really cleansing for you. This is your month with lots of water energy around. Allow feelings that you've quietly been holding on to release when they're ready to go, and trust yourself in that process. Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Look to see if the structures that you put in place earlier in the year to support who you are becoming, that they're still supporting you and that they're still there, or realign them to foundations that you have laid before to make sure that you have the habits in place to support your goals. Air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, what you speak this month carries weight, throat chakra. So make sure that you are communicating with integrity and authenticity. Listen as much as expressing and try not to overthink. You want mental clarity in your communications. So slow down. And that's it for this month's energy forecast. I hope this was helpful and that you were excited to co-create with the universe. Take care.